everybody. It's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. It's trio time. I have the trio. We are back to discuss the final episode of the challenge. Right next to me is Drew with Angel Cake Entertainment. And then, of course, we have Charles Warren. I never can get the camera right. Charles is all the way over there with Charles Warren Presents.com. Please check out all of his natural healing body wash and products. It would take forever for me to list them all, but they're amazing. Let's jump right into this, you guys. Let's do fantasy first. Now, you all know I love a good graphic and I love a big announcement, but it was a work day and I didn't have time for the graphics. So I'm just gonna touch the person who won the season, and then they will get to have a little bit of shine and glory. So let me tell you, this was a very close.
Know. To be honest, we don't know.
Nobody knows.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I can show everybody. I'm at my work computer. All of the tallies are right here on this computer. So let's get into it. Okay, let me touch the person. You know, I can't even hardly figure this StreamYard out. So let me touch the person who won the season with 395 points.
Somebody called Gerard
that
Butler.
That person is
Drew.
Whoa.
Drew won with 395 points. We discussed at the beginning of the season that if you had people that make it to the final, you would get an extra 15 points. Drew had 4 people on his team that made it to the final. So that really shot his points up there. And then if you win the final, you get an extra 25 points. And Charles tried to fight back because he had CT and he came in at 349 points. But Drew also had Casey, which really kind of just blew everybody out the water. So Drew had, let me see, Lord, how do I put it back? I don't know how to put it back. There you go.
That's not back.
That's not how it was.
Yeah.
Okay, it was like that. Drew had Casey, Nelson, Nani, and Devin all make the final. You had Nani, even though Nani got eliminated. And then we had a mystery elimination in the final. And I believe you had Casey who won that. And I had Kyle who won it. But really, your star player was Casey. She had,
of course,
60 points in daily wins.
She's the
She
beast.
had 10 points in second place wins. She made the final and she won. And she got a little elimination win at the end of it. So everybody want to know how many points I got. I came in dead last. I only had 300 points.
That's so good.
It is not compared to 395.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm still surprised that you're as close to me and I'm not as close to Drew. I'm like floating in the middle. Because these last couple episodes, I had CT.
You and Drew were like this. You were neck and neck.
I had CT that won, Emmy that won, and then whatever.
I'm telling you,
Emmanuel was on my team. When you have 4 people
make it to the final, it's nothing really you can do.
I was like, dang.
I mean, I'll be honest. Casey got a little lucky there at the end, being able to go up against Nani and then pick her partner. Like, she wasn't doing that well in the finals at all. So I'll take the win, though. 395.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that tattooed.
395. So this was a fun season. It was very close until then. And I will admit, Drew, I will tell you this camera to camera. When we were having draft night, I didn't know what Drew was doing because he was picking people that he liked. And I was like, he's leaving all the good people on the board. But as the season started to go, I was like, it has to be something to the madness. I never understand. And then he just blew everybody out the park. So I was just like, maybe I need to do that next season. Just pick people I like and not people who I think are strong.
Well, I think the biggest thing was the format change. Drew came from last place to first place when it became the 3 teams. If he didn't have the whole Emerald team, Drew wouldn't have jumped up so high, which nobody projected it to be a 3-team thing with the Emerald team. Josh, Devin winning everything, nobody thought that would happen. So
no, but I would have never had Josh and Devin on my team. So it has to be something about, picking people you like.
Okay, first of all, stop putting Devin and Josh into the category of people that I like. It was more of I watched all the trailers and promos and everything in the live aftermath heading into that draft. So I had like a theory of how, first of all, the aftermath gives away a lot. I figured out. They give a lot away.
The very first one?
Yeah, exactly. And they don't edit anything out in some of those. So to me, I was like, okay, I have a theory. I even went back on my predictions and I got a good amount right because of all the stuff that was in the promos, the mid-season and everything. That it was just like, if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch any of this stuff. But I do all the breakdowns, shot for shot stuff. And I was noticing more and more people that made it farther. So that helped me in the draft. But I was wanting fight points when I picked Josh. So I saw him getting those fights with Fessy and stuff. So I was just hoping he would just go off on everybody. I did not expect him to be working with Devin, which I thought they were going to fight and get me double points because they would just fight with each other all the time. But that didn't work.
Yeah. So hopefully we can do this again next season. I don't know when 38 will be around, but this was a lot of fun. It definitely, doing the fantasy makes watching the episodes a little bit better because I think as a collective, this was a lot to get through. So let's take it back. We're back to the Big T elimination, and I'm going to rely on you all because I don't remember what really went down that week of the Big T elimination. You reminded me that was the week Emmy got voted in. I believe Emerald won that week because they always didn't want somebody to infiltrate their team. So they figured if Emmy went down there, Emmy would definitely go back to her Uncle CT. So that's how it got to be Emmy versus Big T.
Yes, it was the $1 million heist challenge where Big T got in the wrong car and Ruby had a shot but didn't win. And yeah, they decided to go with Emmy. Yeah, they decided to go with Emmy. They were thinking going Tori, and then she was like, no, don't throw me in. Don't throw me in. Please don't throw me in. And so they went with Emmy. And then, yeah, she decided to take on Big T and stuff.
I actually really liked that daily challenge. The fact that it was just like stuff these bags and get them down the hill. It's just like a go challenge. I enjoyed that. And also in the elimination, even though Emmy's on my team, so I got points for her winning, I was rooting for Big T. I wanted Big T to beat her.
Because nobody wanted to see the drama of her going to the Emerald team.
Because nobody wanted Big T. And I kind of root for the underdog too. Like I was like, okay, Big T, show them that you can beat her. She's a rookie, beat her. So
yeah.
Is Emmy the rookie of the year?
Of the year?
Statistically?
Or season?
Well, they're saying she's like the rookie of the year because she won all the eliminations and she made it to the final. Didn't she come in second place?
Winning 4 eliminations ain't nothing to sneeze at.
I'm just looking at, if we're talking about the full year of 2021, we had basically two challenge seasons, and I'm counting double agents. I mean, I'm going to give it to the rookie that actually won and is a challenge champ. That's what I'm just going to go with.
Amber B. That was 2021, I guess.
It started, all the stuff was coming out in December of 2020, but majority of the season was in 2021.
Okay, Amber B is rookie of the year, so Emmy, right? You still have to sit down. They said Emmy won against Tracy, Esther, Bettina, and Big T. That's not impressive. But Glenda says rookie, she is the rookie of the year.
I mean,
I guess it's
with
a
win.
toss-up.
Yeah, with a win.
A win is a win.
And to be honest, the way the final went, whoever was with CT was going to win. So no shade to Casey and no shade to Amber B, because that's how she won. But if Emmy was partnered with CT, Emmy was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, same with Tori.
Yeah.
Same with Tori. Whoever got CT as a partner was going to win. Oh, well. Let's get to the Logan elimination.
Manuel elimination.
Logan and Manuel went into elimination. That was the elimination. It was the technical last episode before the final because there still was another elimination. Mm-hmm. But Logan and Manuel went together. I actually liked the rocket ship.
The running back in 15 seconds.
Where they ran back and forth.
Yeah.
It was endurance. We hadn't really seen an endurance elimination. It was exciting. I felt like Logan should have probably called out Devin. I said production told him not to do it because I can't understand why he wouldn't call out Devin. And that was the week that Sapphire won. Now, if I put my thinking cap on, Ruby never won, correct? They never won.
Okay, no, they never won.
Sapphire won that week, and they threw in Logan, and he chose Emmanuel.
I'm trying to think of the daily challenge, what the name of that daily challenge was, because I like that daily challenge the most.
Was that up in the sky, up in the air?
Yeah, the balls where they were throwing. CT got like all 7 for his team. That one was really fun to watch. I thought like that was a really good daily challenge. Everybody was going for it, but everybody stunk at it except for CT at that point. I thought that was really good. The rocket ship that one was fine. I mean, I like the endurance portion of it, but he really should have picked somebody else. Like I didn't understand his choice.
I like endurance challenges. That particular episode was great for my fantasy team.
Yes.
CT.
That's
Emmy
when you
won,
caught up. You had
and
CT,
then Emmanuel
Emmy.
won elimination. So that was points on points for me. But I think with the rocket thing, I think it should have went from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. I didn't like that it went from 15 seconds to 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been out there all day.
Good. We want to see them sweat.
You want to see them get tired.
Yes, I want the dramatics of that. If it's going to be a real endurance challenge, and to me the rocket was just randomly placed, like this random thing here we're jumping over. It was random. It was just there. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was. So let's talk about the exciting stuff because I had to put on my thinking cap to remember all of that. Let's get into the final. It's now we sitting around looking, and TJ is like, "Hold up, don't get excited. 2 more people got to go home before we start my final." And I was like, "What?" So this is a question that I went off on my live about this. But I think Drew just explained it, but I think he explained it off camera. So when we got around to Amanda, it was like, we don't want Amanda running the final with us. Amanda got thrown in. But when we got around to the men, it was like, there's a rookie over there. Sorry, Manuel, you're a rookie. You got to go in. I'm like, but what about Emmy? I thought Emmy was a rookie too. So what did you all think about the logic of how they threw the women and the men into elimination?
I mean, it didn't surprise me that Amanda was thrown in. I mean, on my channel, I theorized that they would go for the rookies, and Emmy has already seen 4 eliminations. Why not just send her in again and see what happens? And she'd probably pick Amanda anyways. So that's what my original thought process was. But I mean, Devin has been calling Amanda an anchor in confessionals during the live aftermath specials, or not live aftermath, but aftermath post shows. I mean, it was no surprise that everybody just ganged up on her and sent her in. But also there was talks there was talks that she had to be back home anyways because production ran too long. And so she knew she had to be sent into the elimination and that she had to go home regardless, which really waters down that night of eliminations if you go back towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. First of all, how did y'all feel about the cliffhanger? The fact that it was like, oh, we're right here at the final cliffhanger. We have 2 people that have to go home. Did y'all like that?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a twist. It was some excitement because I was over this season. I'm like, okay, give me something. So it was something like, okay, 2 more people got to go. Let's get into it.
I like those. I like those type of I don't like the cliffhangers where they're in the middle of the elimination and they just cut it off. I like those where it's like, okay, we got somebody gone. Now somebody else needs to go home too.
Now, how excited were you all about Tori's backpack? Because me, I think I said it on Twitter. I said if Tori would have picked Emmy up like that, I would have been excited. But I'm like, anybody could have put Amanda on her back. So I was like, okay, Tori, you picked up Amanda.
Tori. She's a lot smaller.
Right.
Than Tori.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think that was an exciting moment, but they're like, oh, look at Tori being like CT with a backpack. And I was like, I'm not giving her that much.
Yeah, I mean, the size of CT versus Johnny in Cutthroat could be similar to Tori and Amanda, but the difference is it was a grown man picking up another grown man who also works out. Like, I don't know what the size difference or the weight difference it is, but I just assumed that with one good squat and pickup that Tori would be able to pick Amanda up and then carry her a distance. But it was fine.
I think another reason why they didn't put Emmy in as the initial nominee would be because all of the other women, all of them, would feel some type of way. Because I don't think any of them want to go against Emmy in elimination. None of them.
Right.
I don't think Tori, I don't think Nani, Amanda, or Casey, and that's my girl. I don't think any of them want to see Emmy in an elimination right before the final. So the fact that if the guys who are their friends throw in arguably the strongest girl, they're gonna all look at them like, what? So you gonna send one of us home?
You gonna
like
risk
at least
one
give
of
us
us.
Amanda, you know? Yeah. So
I can see that point of view. Now on the flip side, when it came to Emmanuel, I felt like Nelson, I didn't understand why Nelson got saved because nobody has been working or talking to Nelson since Corey went home. And you would think if you're against Corey, you're also against Nelson. But I'm happy Nelson got saved. I did kind of say production might have helped save Nelson. But Emmanuel went in there. He calls out Devin, which he should have. But we see 3 puzzles.
Were the puzzles there before he called out Devin? That's what I want to know.
They could not have been. No. Because in my mind, I would have thought if the girls just wrestled with a football, we getting ready to wrestle with a football too. That's what I would have thought if I was Emmanuel.
Right. Because when the Amanda was voted in, it was the rocket was still put out there. So I think that once Tori won, Amanda hightailed it out of there. And then with the elimination still set up for drone drop, that's when they voted so that way it wouldn't give away anything. And then when TJ announced the description of the game, that's when everybody was like, oh, you done messed up, night of mistakes. And it's like, how would he have known? Like,
right And how did y'all feel about Nelson? I'm sorry, Nelson kept jumping in like, oh, why are you helping? Like they were giving Tori the 10th degree about helping her boyfriend versus her bestie.
Let's not Tori get off light. Let's not let Tori get off light. Tori said to Nelson, go ahead and vote for me because Amanda going in anyway. And then she turns around and get upset and say, I'm going to vote in Nelson because he voted for me. And then she says, hey, Manuel, don't call out my best friend Devin, which means call out. She wanted Nelson to go down there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you want to help your boyfriend instead of your best. Like, Tori was all off code. Yeah. Tori would have done best to go turn around, put her back to the elimination, and shut up.
I was more so talking about, like, once it started, they were mad that she was helping Emmanuel.
I would have been too.
Do y'all think it's because they didn't want to compete against Emmanuel in the final? Or is it because they are actually friends with Devin?
I think it's a little bit of more not wanting to go up against Emmanuel. But I also think that there was more that we didn't see to the season, because going back over the promo, the super trailer, there was a point where Nelson was talking to Devin and they were talking about wanting to throw somebody in, and they were like, okay, let's do it type of thing. Like, there was other things going on to where I think that once Corey left, maybe they had an Are You the One kind of deal where Nelson started working closer with Devin and Tori, and they were working more behind the scenes that wasn't shown. So maybe Nelson was trying to be like, look at your best friend, not be your best friend and not help you while I'm over here calling her out type of thing. And maybe he's thinking to later seasons like, oh, I had your back during that final elimination, trying to help you get to the final by calling out Tori kind of thing. But I think it's more not wanting to go up against Emmanuel because he's much more of a threat stamina-wise in the finals than, say, Devin, which we see clearly.
Very clearly. I was just confused over the whole situation because I'm like, Tori, you want to save Devin, but then you want to help your boyfriend. And I just felt like Tori was all the way confused and she would have done better to be quiet. And I don't want to take anything away from Emmanuel because he did get that part one of the puzzle very quickly. And if he could have, Tori had already gave him the clue of put the 5 in the center. If he could have grasped the concept with the 5 in the center, he would have beat Devin.
Maybe.
Because he had a huge lead on Devin.
If he would have gotten it quicker, then yes. There was somebody said in my comments that Devin didn't even get the right answer to his own puzzle, that they said it was right. And I went back and looked at it and he didn't get it right. So the top of the blue didn't match the shading of the bottom, and they just decided to call it. And even Emmanuel was like, I don't think my puzzle's correct. I don't have all the pieces, but I think both men were just confused and would have had to take longer. And maybe the night was going so long after 2 eliminations that they just decided to like, it's close enough. Let's Devin. We want Devin in the final anyways.
Right. We want Devin there. That's what that is.
Well, I'm over it. I want to see at the reunion. Are they even still together? Like, she did all this drama. Are you even still? And I'm sure they're not, because he lived all the way in Romania.
Y'all keep forgetting that Emmanuel is Michelle's man. First of all, Emmanuel
Charles.
ain't even Casey, ain't even Tori's man. It was Michelle's man this season. But Miss Tori couldn't keep them legs closed. And just after Michelle got eliminated, started playing with his dingleberries over there. And I'm like, what's going on? Hi, the girl just went home. And now you up on her man.
Well,
surprised
Michelle
you pay
can't
when
be
you
mad
lose.
because she was with Amanda's man. So it looked like everybody was sharing me in this season. So
I feel for you, Michelle. Shout out to Michelle.
She dodged a bullet.
The reunion should be interesting, if anything. I just want to see the mess. But let's move on past that. That's when Emmanuel and Amanda go, bye. It's time for TJ's final. So we suit up for, to me, has to be the easiest part one of a final ever that I've seen since they've had hard finals. Like, they have to run up somewhere, solve a puzzle. And not surprisingly, CT solves the puzzle first. But out of all the challenges he's ever done, he leave the answer key right there for everybody to cheat off of. But mind you, the biggest cheater of them all, Nani, still came in last.
Oh yeah, this is when they did the map. The map,
yes,
magnets. First of all, I don't know European countries, so I would have been right there beside Nani.
But it's
like,
a puzzle.
What you get for number 6? Where this one go? I don't know. The Romanias and all them. I don't know where they at on the map. So I ain't even gonna play like
Nani was standing the closest to CT. How can you not? Okay, blue.
We gonna cheat.
How do you still come in last?
Sure. But I'm saying if I did it myself,
But anyway, they ride up to the helicopter. Like I said, it seemed very easy to me. So you already got a cheat code for part 1. You ride up to the helicopter, you jump in the water. You don't even have to swim the whole lake. You get to use the underwater jet ski. So I'm like, what kind of final is this where you get a helpmate? In the comments, Qua saying Ashley would have won. I could have won with an underwater jet ski, so I don't know.
Wait, is this the one where Nelson couldn't swim?
No,
he didn't have to.
This
swim.
Is the first
he
part.
Had an underwater jet ski.
Oh.
This is them jumping out of the helicopter, getting the puzzle piece, and then getting to the shore to get up the mountain where Nelson was the first one to the puzzle.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it was another puzzle, which I'm like, oh my God, how many puzzles are they going to put in the thing? When they going to eat something nasty? When they going to... Ultimately, they saw the telephone wire puzzle to be back in teams. And the teams are CT and Devin, Tori and Emmy, Nelson, Kyle, Casey, Nani.
Did you hear the stuff from the Challenge Official podcast of everything that went down in that puzzle? That checkpoint 3 puzzle? The checkpoint 3, the wire.
Telephone wire.
Yeah. Apparently Devin and CT were the only ones that could actually do it. And then it was taking everybody else like 45 minutes. So production just started giving out hints on how to solve the puzzle. And so whoever could figure out the hint could run away and do it. Instead of like timing out like we used to do in challenges, to where Nelson would have had an incentive and an advantage for getting there first. And then if he timed out, he could have ran over. Granted, he would have still been on the orange team. But I mean, there would have been an advantage of being the first couple of people up to the top to your puzzle, and doing well in the first 2 to get there. But instead, they decided to give them all hints. And that's how we got the teams. And essentially, this whole first 3 checkpoints were to see who would your team. Like, that's all. This is all it was for. There was no points. There's no time. It's just all who's going to be on what team, which is I
didn't like it. I felt like they had too much rest. I'm like, you already got to rest at the helicopter ride. Then you got another rest. I'm used, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe MTV doesn't like people passing out anymore, so they're making the finals easier. But I like the finals where people have to push themselves to the limit of
physical limit. Yeah,
right. Like
they don't run
very
miles
easy
anymore. The whole miles and miles and miles of running, they don't do that no more.
Well, I also think that they had an idea of where they wanted this cliffhanger to be in the episode. Like, I've watched all these finals, and I think that this one was so planned out. Like, we want them to stop when we make the teams, so we have to get a certain amount of footage. We can only go for a certain amount of time, and then cut it down to get that 20 to 30 minutes because of the first part of this episode, and then we'll move on to the next thing, the next checkpoints and kind of thing. So I think it was just like so thought out methodically that it kind of took away from the actual like competitiveness or the entertainment of it all when it came down to it.
What did you think about, somebody put in the comments, the overnight of just having to sleep on the floor? Like, no stand up on one foot on a log.
Mm-hmm.
no one person, they were already in teams. How about one person from the team has to stay up and balance something? It was nothing. I'm like,
I think that's corny though.
But it messes with
the whole thing.
Your
you
ability
gotta
to have
dunk your
good
head
rest
in
the
this
next
water. Day. When they were trying to do that extra stuff was it last season? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the ice water.
That was whack. To me, that was corny. It didn't make any sense. It was whack. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind them just going to bed.
I'll agree that it wasn't very exciting to watch them dunk their heads in water and stuff. That was pretty bad, but just the overall aesthetic of that ice cave was so beautiful and so cool, and they had nice, like, I like the idea of the time lapse between like Leroy looking at the camera, like looking like he's going crazy because he's been staying up for like hours, and then having to wake up Nani. Then Cam has to yell at Nani to get up. Like, that was so much fun to watch. But yeah, this season it was so tame that was just like, get in the cave. Here's all your stuff. Here's the yoga mat. Sleep, and then I'll get you up. Especially after TJ was like, don't come last. Don't be the last cell there. And then it was just like, all right, good night. I was like, all right, I guess we're doing the elimination.
What I think should have happened, I think they should have all been taken to the cave. And then I think the losing 4 should have been taken away. So the winners would be in the cave, probably talking. We'll get footage of them gossiping, like, what's happening? Then the losers go, we see them under a spotlight doing their eliminations. And then the 2 winners, the man and the woman,
cool.
we see them walking back to the cave. To me, that would make the most sense out of that time lapse.
That would have been cool. And you could have done like a puzzle, like all 4 of them doing a puzzle together at the same time. So that way it's not like a disadvantage for the men to go first or the women to go first. I mean, you could have done whatever you ever there. I personally like that idea better than waiting until the morning to do everything. And then we got
we can get the dramatics. If it was like dark as far as the eyes can see.
Yeah, and they've done those nighttime eliminations.
That would have been great. And then instead we get a morning elimination where it felt like forever that we had to hear about Nani and Casey upset about eliminating each other and giving each other the win, even though we know the money is going to the same household. Like, you're going to see each other in 5 minutes after you get up this mountain and come back down. Like, You're not going to be taken right off and never see her again. Like,
that was such a waste of time.
It was.
Baby, do you want to win? Are you sure you don't want to win, baby? That took me. That was like, girl, fast forward.
I don't know what they said because they had way too much screen time, and they definitely hit the fast forward on my television. I was over Nani and KC. I'm like, if y'all Nani have a different girlfriend or boyfriend every season. Ooh. Come back season 38 or 39 still together, and then I might care about y'all relationship. But not today. Now, she might stay around for 38 because you done brought home $300,000. But they gave Nani and Casey way too much because at the end of the day, Casey, even if Nani didn't want to quit, Casey was beating Nani anyway.
Period. You could have tied Casey's 100%. Leg to her arm in the back, and she would have still beat Nani.
And you know what the other thing is like, even before hearing the elimination, we got so much in the cave. Where they were like, oh, we always talked about going camping. This is like us at home. And I was just like, all right, they're really dragging this out. I know you're going to be going up against each other in elimination. Like, you lost. Like, I know you're going to go up against each other, but they made it go way too long. I was like, oh my gosh, like, just bow out and let's go. Like,
right. I would have preferred for Nani just to quit. They didn't even have to do their elimination. Just go home, Nani. Go home. Mm-hmm. Now, Nelson and Kyle was interesting because I thought Nelson had more of a fighting chance, but Kyle did a really good job beating Nelson.
Well, the thing about this elimination, it's so close to a reverse tug of war that if you have the size advantage or a weight advantage, you will beat the other person 9 times out of 10. Like, we saw that happening over and over again in Gauntlet 2, where it was Derek lost to Timmy, even though Derek was in better shape, He was shorter and he didn't weigh as much, and Timmy was able to just destroy him. The same with Beth and Ruthie. Ruthie was in much better shape, but Beth was so big, she was able to just take out Ruthie. So when it comes down to Kyle's length, if he can outmuscle him to the ledge, he can use his giant wingspan to get across the ramp. And Nelson, he is a killer in the elimination, but it was the length that did him in, and it's tough to watch, especially knowing that these two guys are in much better shape than, say, other people who are in the finals, aka Devin. And they have to go up against each other, but Devin gets to like walk the whole finals, and I'll do that.
I want to know how tall they actually are, because I looked it up on Google and it says that Kyle is 5'11".
No.
Which I think he's taller than that.
He has to
Google says he's 5'11". And then it says Nelson is like 6'2". I said, there's no way Nelson is 6'2". He is like,
my eyes could tell me that's a lie.
He is him and Tori are like the same height. Tori ain't 6'2". So I need somebody to figure out how tall they really are, because Google is not right. When I looked that up, I was like, this can't.
Kyle could be 5'11" because he is like an inch or two shorter than CT, and I read somewhere that he's supposed to be 6'1". And so if he is 6'1", then Kyle is just an inch or two shorter than him. But Nelson is nowhere near 6'2".
Right. He gives me a good 5'7", 5'8". He looks.
I was thinking 5'9", 5'8", yeah, somewhere around there.
They said Tori is 5'8". I didn't know Tori was that tall.
Yeah, right, so then that means he's probably 5'8", because when you see him and Tori standing beside each other, they're the same height. That's why I was like 6'2" don't make sense, because I know Tori ain't 6'2".
Okay, I think we skipped all over the missile where they had to make squares out of carrying that missile, and how Nelson and Kyle and them had this huge time advantage, but they still lost.
To 3 squares.
And this is another part where if it was a timeout, like they probably still could have won if they could have timed out instead of. But didn't they time out? Because they never figured out that puzzle.
They saw the other one.
Yeah, they did. They solved it. Yeah. So crazy enough, I ventured into the Challenge Official podcast just to see if there was anything good in there, like any good information. Oh my gosh, I could only make it like 20 minutes in. I got just in front of the Casey interview, and then I was just like, all right, that's enough. But there was a point where Tori said that they were only behind them 3 to 5 minutes when they were coming up on the orange team on that puzzle, and that they didn't solve it as quickly as the edit makes you want to believe. Like they had to, they tried like 2 or 3 different renditions, and then every time you tried something, you had to go back to the original four corner thing. So she said that they were only 3 to 5 minutes behind, and by the time they got there, they tried like 2 or 3 times, and then finally something clicked with CT, and they were able to finish it up and then head out. So it wasn't as long as it made you want to think it was, but I don't know. That's what she says, but she was in the middle of it. She doesn't know time.
She was there. She has a bias.
She ain't got no watch.
Right. Yeah, but we had skipped all over the missile square puzzle thing.
Or the cage.
Like a big old cigarette.
Yeah, they were in a cage.
Yeah,
did y'all think it was a cigarette?
It did. And I want to know, how did the other team get their chain off so fast? Like they whipped that chain off.
Probably wasn't tied on as.
They kind of made it seem like it was going to be a CT versus Devin, Tori versus Emmy. But
that would have been awesome.
That would have been, well, CT versus Devin wouldn't have been.
I would have loved to see Devin get demolished after talking about how much he has a flawless game. Oh, I played a perfect game. I'm in the finals with CT. There's no way this could end badly for me.
Now, somebody has a comment that I wanted, because it leads into the next part. Of course, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Zach, he says, I'm not a fan of Tori, but she was kind of robbed because she was winning all the checkpoints just for KC to partner up with CT at the end. I kind of agree. How the losing team get to pick partners and pick the best partners? They should have kind of picked partners a different way, I think.
So this is what the first topic of my tiny table talk will be tomorrow morning, is just me getting heated about these finals because of the format. If you lose, it's actually an advantage to lose, so that way you can pick partners. You could lose 80 to 85% of these finals. As long as you win that one elimination, you're golden, because even if you've been winning, you don't have any power. You don't have any say in who you want to be partnered up with. If anything, it should have been the purple team gets to figure out who they want to be partnered up with, if they want to divvy it up amongst themselves, and then have Casey and Kyle have to be partnered up with each other, not Casey and Kyle getting to choose whoever they wanted, because that makes no sense.
Of the purple
it doesn't
team.
make any sense. And I get way more heated than I just did, but it just didn't make any sense. Every time I think about this, I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm not a Tory stan or anything, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
I'm definitely not a stan, but I totally agree with that comment. Like, what's the benefit of winning just to have the losers pick the best of the best? Like, they should have to be partners.
On theme.
Yeah, it is on theme.
I guess it is on theme.
Because every elimination, you get to pick who you want to go be teamed up with. So if it's a continuation of the season, it makes sense with what's been going on all season.
But in that same thought process, we could say that the purple team won the challenges to become the agency to have the power of who they wanted, because so in that same regard, they could have swapped it over on the other side and been like, okay, everybody, you guys can pick who you want to be partnered up with. You can divvy among yourselves, or you can pick somebody, either Kyle or Casey, instead of giving them the power, even though they haven't been doing well on the solo checkpoints or at all throughout the rest of these finals. Like, it just made no sense. Like, first of all, a lot of this final was just fluff, because the two main points of this final was the getting to choose your team and then winning this elimination. Like, that's it. Like, because the final leg, there was no points, there was no time, nothing really mattered until you got to that 20 digit number. That was it. Like, it all came down to one foot race up the mountain and back down the mountain to memorize a code. Like, that's all it came down to. So it, like, I don't know. It was so lackluster to me.
Right. That wasn't exciting. Like, that's all you have to do is go up the mountain, rememorize 10 numbers, and come back.
You know what I would love? I would love a final where it's truly independent, to where it's not this uniform checkpoint by checkpoint by checkpoint at the end of the day. It needs to, for me, it would be exciting if where you stopped at a certain time, you had to camp there. Or, something like that. Because I feel like if you keep, the winner is winning by miles, and you keep stopping them, you're letting these people that keep losing
get a rest,
get a fresh start to be equal with you the next day. And I don't think that's fair. I think bring back the miles and miles and miles of sand or whatever, mountain, and you may never see the person that wins, because you like, well, I'm doing my best because I'm trucking it. I don't like how it's like, okay, let's all get to this point and stop. Get to this point and stop.
I was really hoping that this was going to be run like Free Agents, where everybody was going to have to be partnered up with each other at different checkpoints, and there was timing or points or something, because there was so much, like, with the spy theme, with everything, that if we were going to do partners, why not have everybody partnered up with each other? And then it hits the lesson home that I should have taken out this person before we got here. Either they're hindering my process and dragging my time down, or this other person is doing so well, I should have taken a shot at them because now they're going to win no matter whose partner that they have in the finals. For it to just be a team for 90% of it, and then it comes down to pairs running up a mountain, it really doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't like the teams at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it.
I agree.
Yeah, because it started off individual, then teams, and then you do all of that. Like, what's the benefit of Nelson, who was winning? Well, he went home. But I like the finals where once it starts, it's continuous until the end.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a checkpoint, like Charles said, you get it. If you don't, I'm already miles ahead of you, and it's no catch up. I see you at the finish line.
They disbanded the teams just to put them back into teams after the first 3 checkpoints. Like, that made no sense. Like, I would have much rather they have done a daily challenge thinking that they were going to the finals. Instead, make them do a daily challenge where they're split into teams heading into the finals. So they're in new teams, and then we can split them up or do whatever. Like, to me, it just didn't make any sense to disband them one episode, then to put them back into a different set, and then to then split them up again, and then do one leg, and that's it. Like, I don't understand it.
I just got an idea. FTV, if you're watching, ladies, gentlemen. So, let's, like we said, Angie, everybody is running, doing the checkpoints, trying to make it to the finish line. But let's also incorporate, like, I don't know if y'all have ever played Fortnite, but in Fortnite, and this will help them save money with production too. So it won't be so many individual cameramen. Within Fortnite, there's like an open map. At a certain point in time, for us to get down to the winner, certain parts of the map start to disintegrate. So you have to not be on those outskirts for you to win. Does that make sense? The map is big, and then the map starts to get smaller, and you can't be in those zones or you will basically evaporate. Like, you'll die. You'll be gone. I feel like with these eliminations, as time is going, the person that is in last place, if you're at last place at a certain time stamp, you are basically eliminated. So people are falling off as the competition continues to go on. I think that would push people to be in the front of the pack, because and you never know when it's going to happen. By a certain hour, the second day or whatever, if you're in last place, production cuts you and you're done.
They like it.
Yeah, I like that too. I was also thinking, this is dumb, but I was thinking of, like, because of our fantasy, what if there was like a fantasy point system that if you make it far into the game, you can get an advantage heading into the finals or something, and that would push people to want to work hard, win dailies, stay out of eliminations or whatever. So I don't know how you would be able to keep up with that, but if we had a running scoreboard that we could see at home or keep up with on the website or something, it would push people to want to win instead of just coasting by and not doing anything and just being like, I got friends, I'll make it to the finals, who cares? But the people who are actually winning, like, say Emmy, who won 4 eliminations, not an Emmy fan, but because she won 4 eliminations and 4 dailies, she would get more of an advantage than, say, Nani, who, yeah, she won some dailies, but never went into a elimination or anything.
Her girlfriend was protecting her and winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But we do need to figure out a way to make people want to play the game instead of just sit back and treat this like a vacation because X, Y, and Z are here and they always have my back no matter what. Right. And I'm just going to do whatever. I could just sit around and do whatever.
Twist.
I like the skull twist. We just have to do it correctly.
Have to get a skull
correctly,
or you're not going to the final.
I think it could have worked this season. I'm so frustrated that they didn't give it one more season, because I think the last 2, because they were so vet heavy, it really kind of screwed things up. Whereas even with a vet truce, you have to try to rely on friends to give you the right players to go up against. And I think it would have been so much more entertaining to see CT yelling for Devin to give him some player like Emmanuel or whoever he thought he could beat in the final or an elimination. And I think it would have been so much more interesting that we wouldn't have saw Priscilla get thrown in 3 different times or Bettina getting thrown in twice or whatever. Well, we would have, but I mean, I just think the skulls could have worked and it would have been a bigger impact than they have been the last previous seasons, where I think we did have some really promising, strong rookies this season that could have put a lot of heat on players in this season. But then last season where we had like Michi and Amber M, who nobody was scared of.
But yeah, if Michaela had a one-on-one for Skull, Michaela would have still been there.
True.
So,
well, a lot of people in the chat are saying that don't give Casey too much. If it wasn't for CT, she wouldn't have won this final. That wasn't me. That's what the chat was saying.
It's the same thing for Amber B. If you're gonna give Amber B the works, then it's the same thing.
We kind of already knew CT was winning this. Kind of like me and Charles just talked about Survivor. When we went into the Survivor finale night, we didn't know who was winning. But we already knew CT was winning this. So really, we kind of knew KC was going to win it too. I didn't know how, but I think we called it at the beginning of the season.
That she was the best girl there.
She was the best girl there.
She's the most athletic and the strongest, but she wasn't doing so hot by herself in the first part of these finals or on that team. So, but not to give away, but not to take anything away from Casey, because she won fair and square. She won inside the format production gave her. I think I'm more frustrated with the format and what production gave us in the terms of what the actual final was. I think that's where I'm more frustrated. You can't take away anything from Casey or Amber because they were able to choose their own partner, get the better partner. Yeah. So, I mean, they won fair and square. They are challenge champs and they deserve the win. They didn't just slouch around and let CT do all the work. They still ran with him. They still did stuff. They still memorized their own codes and stuff, but it's just the format of the frustrations of like, you could lose 80 to 90% of the finals, but it's just that one little stretch.
And I think, and I may be overstepping because this is my girl, but with Casey, I feel like out of all the challenge players, she's been on for 3 seasons now. 4 seasons, whatever. 3. I think she probably has the best winning record when it comes to daily challenge wins. Consistently, she is like the MVP. If you have Casey on your team every season, this girl is winning dailies, whether it's with Leroy or whether with this team, any season. That girl she's on the winning team. If she's 1 to 5, but she's winning. So
if Casey can practice that puzzles, she would be like the next CT as far as the females, because she's very physical. She just doesn't have the puzzle thing down. You'll catch up to her every time if it's a puzzle involved.
Yeah. I would have to really look into those numbers because I don't know if anybody has such a winning
She's
percentage.
made it to a final every time she's been on the challenge. She's been at a final.
Every time. And she
I can do some more homework.
She's won throughout the season. Bananas.
She was in that final with the snow when Bananas and Jenny won. She did the final last season where she twisted her ankle or something happened with her ankle, and then she won this season. Yeah. Casey can take a break for me.
I will do research over the last 3 seasons to see who, if anybody's can beat her in her stats or anything on their first 3 seasons. And I will have some homework and some results come Sunday when we have our talk about the final.
Who would be her closest,
about the season?
Somebody already has the numbers. She has 11 to 12 daily wins already.
I think she has more than that.
Just this season, she has like 5.
Yeah, because her 5. And Leroy.
She has 6 because she had 60 points. So she has 6 daily wins this season.
Her and Leroy won a whole bunch. Back to back.
5, I believe.
What do you want, Luke?
I think she won 5.
But who would be the closest, like, high batting average like that? She wins. She is a winner.
In the first 3 seasons, I can't name anybody off the top of my head.
Maybe Cam. No.
Cam has very impressive stats. I have to go look into it. I also think of like Evelyn. Maybe she has some good stats.
Yeah, Evelyn.
She has some good stats.
They said Leroy is the reason KC won. They said when she was solo, she only has one individual win by herself.
But she's barely solo. She's always in a team. So, and don't give it to Leroy because Leroy is not notoriously a winner. You can't just say.
I don't want to take anything from KC. I think KC is a great competitor. I just think KC is boring as far as reality television, but she's a great competitor. So I don't want to take anything away from KC. Congratulations to her.
I think
now I want to get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Now it's $1 million on the line, and at the end of the day, you all are strangers to me. But they give away 20% of their winnings for second and third place to share. I want to know you all's opinion. I'm going to give mine first. I would have at least if I had any kind of generosity in me, I would have at least did what they did last season. I'm taking home $450. Second place, y'all can get a cute 30. Third place, y'all get a cute 20. I'm not giving away $200,000. But that's just Angie.
This is an investment, not only for this season by saying thank you for helping me out or whatever. You're also looking out for the next few seasons, right? Like you're sitting there going like, I gave you some money. So that way next time comes around, you're not going to snake me in 2 to 3 seasons time because I gave you that 100 grand. I personally don't like giving both second and third place the same amount of money. I just don't like that at all. I mean, Kyle and Tori kicked butt in that final run at least. And they were neck and neck with both CT and Casey. Like they could have won, even though I think that last part was staged where they were like, oh, it's not going. Say it again. I thought CT and Casey already got it, but they wanted that moment of like, oh, it's so close. Yeah. They're both at the keypad. And plus Devin was like screwing up at day one. Like he was slowing me down if I'm CT. Like Devin's slowing me down. He didn't do much of anything for my game because I solved all the puzzles. I would have done $800K for Casey and I, $150 for Tori and Kyle, so that they get 75 each.
Girl, and then numbers. I'll tell you what I would do. Hold on.
And then $50K for Devin and Emmy to split. That's what I would have done. That's exactly what I would have done.
I'm not that nice for people who I don't even interact with on a daily basis. I need $1 million for myself, but that's a lot. Like $200,000. They didn't even do that last season. They let number one get $900,000, and second and third split the rest.
I'll be honest, I didn't think that this was a very big twist, in my opinion. When he said first place would have to make a decision, I thought that there was going to be something where like they would steal the money from each other or something. Like, is this a new rivals thing? Like, why are you doing this? But no, you just get to hand out money to your friends if you want to. It's like, all right,
I wouldn't have wanted to. Because it's not like you're stealing their money. It's not like they already said this is how much is second and this is how much is third. And if you win, you could steal their money. Like, I won $1 million. I'm not giving y'all nothing. Y'all should have ran a little bit faster.
I know that's right, Angie. I'm keeping my money. But what I pulled my calculator out. So I would have, with the $1 million, I would have for 930,000 of it, me and CT would have split. So CT and I individually would have had 465.
Okay.
The other 70,000 I would have split. Now, third place, I would have gave them both 10,000 each. Second place, I would have gave them both 25,000 each, and that's it. That's all y'all need. Y'all already gonna get stipends, extra money for being here, so y'all need a whole bunch of money.
That's OG challenge money. That's what they used to get paid for finishing third and second back in the day.
Boom.
Throwback.
That's better than zero.
That's true.
It's better than zero, but they, like you said, they got a stipend to be there, so it wasn't like they came to the challenge and went home with zero. They just didn't get any prize money. They would have went home with their stipend if Angie would have won. But somebody said your math not right, Charles. They said your math not mathing.
Baby, my math is mathing. Let's do it. Y'all want to do it together? 10,000 for second for third times 2 is 20,000.
My favorite would have been
25,000. 25,000 times 2, 50,000. What's 50,000 plus 20,000, baby?
That's 70.
70,000. Okay, so for the girls in the back, 1 million minus 70,000 is 930K. Divided by 2, I'm going home with $465,000.
I would have loved if right when TJ said you have to make a decision, you were like, "Hey TJ, can I see your phone real quick? I gotta do some calculations."
I need some quick math. Because I'm giving you 10, 10, 25, 25, and then 465, 465.
I don't like that. Why? I don't think the players should be asked to share their winnings. If you want to have a second and a third place, have that already set up. Because
I agree.
Like you said, now I'm trying to think of some goodwill, some good faith for a few. Like, no, if you want second and third to have something, have that already set. If I get the whole million, it's mine. And I would not harbor any ill will to anybody for keeping what they want.
This just pads the fact that everybody talks about how everybody was friends with each other on the game and the whole friendship talk and everything. Like, this is just the big circle to be like, oh, you guys get to choose how much money you want to give to your friends. And it's like, I agree with you, Angie, that I want to go back to when the finals, we know how much everybody's going to get right off the bat. Like, first, second, third, you have the money, you decide what's appropriate, and let's go. Like, let's stop putting this on other people. It really does seem like one of those things where it's like, okay, they were originally going to have it 1 million for the top placing pair of man and woman. But then they were like, oh, you know what would be fun and interesting twist if right before TJ was about to say everything to them and say oh, you have to go up this mountain and stuff. They just were like, hey, just mention they can give away their money if they want to. Just throw that out there. It just seemed like an afterthought or anything. It's like, how about you figure that out? You're the producers.
I would have went up for CT and KC if they would have said we don't want to share it. I would have had more respect that I don't want to share.
Okay with that.
Because I'm like, what was the point of you all doing all the work? Let's call facts of facts. CT isn't friends with anyone. CT could care less about Kyle, Devin. They might be cool on the challenge. They might tweet a little bit. But is CT even coming back? Is he even coming back? Because I thought he was going to go make some movies. KC is definitely no one's friend. And Nani should be cussing her out like, girl, you done gave away $200K of my shopping money. What you doing, girlfriend?
Yeah,
no.
200,000. That's too much.
That's way too much.
I'm giving y'all 70,000.
I wouldn't have gave him that. Angie I probably wouldn't have had the idea of the goodwill for future seasons. I would have said it's mine because I'm not stealing anything from you. It's mine.
Partner says, no, my friends are over there. I want to get my
you
friends.
Can give them some of your money, but 500K is coming to me. You can give them whatever you want out of your money.
So
now that's going to encourage people to do more of this foolishness of let's have a big group think. If our big group can just get there, we could split the money however we want to split it. I don't like that. No, I got to get there because I need the money.
And to me, with who was in the finals, I didn't feel like there was anything at stake. I felt like everybody was going to give somebody something out of the money. It didn't feel like when CT had that confessional that they played twice in the span of 5 minutes where he was like, I would like to think they would give me something, but you never know. Power can corrupt people or whatever he said. And to me, it was like, yeah, but all of you all have been talking about how great of friends you are this whole time. Everybody is going to give somebody something. There was no worry that nobody was going to get anything. to me. So I just didn't think that it was as gripping as maybe they wanted it to seem. Like, oh, if Kyle gets it, first of all, Kyle's not going to get it, but if Kyle gets it, he'll take the whole money for himself. And I'm like, he can if he wants to, like, whatever. I never just thought, like, the time where Bananas and Sarah, it was coming down to show who was going to have the decision to make it, that had some tension, that had some palpability to it, because you knew somebody was going to take it. Like, if Bananas got it, he was going to take it, and that was going to be heartbreaking for Sarah. But this wasn't, I didn't feel like there was any stakes to this at all.
No. Because you aren't stealing. You're going to be mad at me because I don't want to give. Like, it's different to give than to steal. Now, if Nelson was down there, they wouldn't have gave Nelson nothing. Who's Nelson's friend?
I think they would have still did this split up thing, no matter who it was.
Yeah. And it depends on who his partner is too. If he won, he would have taken Tori, and then CT and Casey were friends and no Tori, so they would have pushed to give Tori and Kyle money.
I just can't imagine them being that close of friends.
Do y'all think Casey would have thrown away her game if Nany was like, yeah, let me have it, like, this is my last season?
Yeah, I 100% do. I think Casey knows she's going to come back, and she's made it to 3 finals now in 3 seasons. She feels like she can come back over and over and over again if she wants to. She knows that Nany's probably talked about maybe not doing the challenge as much or something. This is her 11th season. I think she's like, oh, Nany is closer to the finishing another final, and she can win this. Probably they know that they can pick their partner.
She would have won because she would have been with CT. So she would have won anyways.
So I do think that she would have laid down her game and would have been like, I'll see you in like 5 minutes. Once you get up the mountain, come back. We'll go home on the same plane, and one of us will be rich. So let's just do it, kind of thing.
I'm not going to even be shady.
Would you have, if you were in Nany's position, would you have said, yes, lay down your game? I want to win this.
If I was the layup has been, maybe I would have been like, yes, I want to win this, but then I would have fought to beat her in that wrestle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just been like, oh my God, let me win. Like, no, that would have been corny. That would have been whack.
One, I'm going to come from the mindset of, we don't know when we're doing this reverse tug of war that if we win, we get to choose our partner. So in Casey's mindset, she's like, if it go back down to individuals, let's say, Nany is not about to win this. I need to win this so at least me and my girlfriend can have some rent money when we go home. But if they maybe would have known up front, whoever wins gets to pick their partner, maybe Casey would have threw it to Nany because she knew Nany would have picked CT. But it's not guaranteed that Nany with CT is going to win. Who knows if Nany would have remembered all 10 of those numbers? Who knows how fast she would have got up and down that hill?
Well, that's my thought process too. I was going to bring that up is I don't know if Nany's going to keep up. All I can think about is last season where Leroy is crawling up to TJ to get second money. And she's just like, I can only go this amount. I can't go any further. And Tori and Kyle were right behind Casey, who was dragging up behind CT because she didn't want to injure her knee again, coming down with all those rocks. So, I mean, they were just seconds behind her. So if Nany is falling back with Devin, there's no way that I think that Kyle and Tori would have won if Nany would have stayed in. Even being partnered up with CT. CT would have just been frustrated sitting there memorizing
and
the whole
knew that. She was like, you want to be in the final or you want some money? Because if you want some money, let me go ahead and win this.
So you think that was just like a gesture of just being like, are you sure you don't want to win? And then
I don't know. I had hit the fast forward. I didn't even know she said that. I didn't even know she said that.
Yeah, she turned around
like,
right before the second round. And she's like, are you sure you don't want to win? And Nany was just like, you're my competitor, Casey. And then gave her
I hit the
second
fast forward
round.
through that whole thing because I was like, KC gonna win. Let's get on to what's happening next. There's too much KC and Nany.
That's my girl. Casey's my girl. But you know the gag of it would have been if she did let Nany go. Nany wins the money, and then they break up.
And then Nany off to her next.
Right.
But the gag is going to be when Nany spend up all the money and still go off to her next.
I would say that was a lot of pressure, though. I think Nany couldn't handle that pressure if she was like, yeah, give me the win. And then going into the next portion, knowing that was the final stretch. I think that would have been so much pressure to be like, I just sent Casey home. She gave me this win. I have to win. And if she doesn't, like, and whoever wins, like Kyle and Tori won and they didn't split the money or anything, like that would have been like, oh.
Let's think about it. Do you think Kyle and Tori would have split the money?
No.
You are being bad.
I think Tori would have wanted to. Kyle would not have wanted to.
I think they would have, but not 200,000, maybe 100,000 between the two teams, and they each get whatever the
25,
450. They get 450 each, and then they each give them like 50K each or 25K each, whatever.
25,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would have been minimum, or even go, let's say 150 and then split it up or whatever, but not 200K, not Kyle and Tori.
That is 200,000. That's a lot of money.
Do you think Devin and Emmy would have gave as much?
No. Emmy would have defaulted to Devin, and Devin would have just taken a lot of the money. He would have definitely done probably 100,000 and gave everybody 25K. I think Kyle and Tori maybe have done a little bit more, but yeah, no. But that was never going to happen. Devin sucked. Like he was the worst.
Did I ask you all this, and then we could kind of, I guess, wrap it up? Why do you think they were so generous? Like, do you think CT already got 500,000 for showing up, so it wasn't that big of a deal? Like, I didn't like that was extremely generous.
I think. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I don't have my thoughts, Bob.
I think it was a mixture of exhaustion and them trying to be fair. Because I feel like you've been running and doing all this. Somebody puts a mic in your face. Okay, how are you going to pick second place? You're like, okay, I guess second place, give them 100,000. Like, because you, in your mind, you're thinking of 1 million as the big number. But really, you're only getting half of that at the most. So I think they're thinking, okay, we got the 1 million, so let's at least give them 100,000. Not thinking 100,000 is a fourth of what you get, what you're getting. So I don't think they were really. I think it was exhaustion and just being on the spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the spot, you just have that euphoric adrenaline pumping through you. You want to be fair, like Charles was saying, and yeah, I would say that. I think it's a mixture of everything, just like a whole bunch of like, oh, we're with them for 2 days straight. We played this like 3-month game. I know how hard it was for me. I know they probably feel it's just as hard, so they're trying to be fair. But I'm with you, Angie, that they shouldn't have put this on the players. I mean, I think it's very generous, but for you to have beasted this out and then to say like, oh, well, you can give them something if you want to. It's almost like TJ's like putting it on them that if they said something, then, oh, they can be mad at you now. It's like, I just won.
Right.
Like, that's dumb.
Then they'll be beef next season.
Yeah, like, and unnecessary too. It's just like dumb. I don't know. The more we talked about it, I didn't even think about this, but the more we talk about it, the more it just seems dumb to me.
Well, we'll see how much goodwill they get in 39 and 38. 38
yeah,
and 39.
38.
I personally don't even want 75% of them to even come back. So
I would like new vets. some of the rookies were actually pretty decent. Like I did a highlight reel that's going to come out tomorrow, like a little tribute video. And I'll tell you right now, there were some moments I forgot that happened in the first couple of episodes that were actually like, wow, that happened this season. It seems so vanilla and nothing happened in the back half that I remember so recently. So I wouldn't mind some more fights and seeing some of the competitors come back.
No, I meant 75% of the people in the final.
Oh yeah. No, definitely not the final.
Like I don't care about most of them. But that was the end of the episode. I am interested in the reunion next week because I want to hear a little bit of the drama and the behind the scenes mess. So the reunion will be next week. Someone asked way at the top of the comments, I believe it was Dan. I'm not about to go find the comment. They wanted to know about the games. I didn't have time to pull the games together this week, but they're in my mind because I have at least 2 games that I want to play for the challenge. So what we're going to do, I already talked to the gentleman. Next Thursday, since the challenge and Survivor is over, we're going to get together. The trio is going to get together and do a game night. We'll touch on the reunion a little bit, but mostly we're just going to be here to play games and have a good time. It's the Thursday before Christmas, so a lot of us, like for me, I'm off after that, so I won't have any work to stress out about any of that. So we're just going to have a good time. We could have drinks. You could drink if you're old enough and if you would like. And we're just going to get together, little bit of the reunion, but mostly play challenge themed games. I got at least 2 good ones. So we're going to have a good time next Thursday. So please come back.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations, Sunday, Drew, on the win this year.
Thank you.
Yes, Sunday. Drew, shout out what we're doing Sunday on your channel.
So last year for Double Agents, or not last year, but a few months back, we did a season review live between us on my channel, Angel Cake Entertainment. And I had so much fun going over the gradings of the cast, the rookie cast, the dailies, and the final, kind of getting an overall feel for the season and where it could land over the series as a total. I had so much fun with it. So I asked Angie and Charles to join me on my channel this time around. And to do the same thing. And I have a feeling things are going to get very opinionated. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll see. It'll get very interesting. Let's just say that. But I'm very excited. It should be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, December 19th, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's going to be exciting.
And someone has a question for you, Drew. They want to know why you don't review Survivor and Big Brother anymore. Just wondering.
The Big Brother season I did was not a good one. That was All Stars. First of all, I did 21, which was not a good season. And then I stopped in the middle of that one. And then I was like, All Stars should be fun. Wasn't fun. And it was like, I only did Big Brother because it's 3 episodes a week. And that's just like so much time and energy. And it wasn't worth it. Survivor, this season, I really wanted to do it, but I just had so much going on that I really had to stop and figure out what I wanted to do. And then All Stars was coming on to do Thursdays as well. And it just was a lot to try to
it's a lot.
And so I prioritized the challenge instead. And maybe I have ideas of what to do in the off season with different shows. So keep an eye out for that. I have a lot of fun stuff going into the off season, but Survivor is fun. I did watch the ending today, but it was just so much at that time. And I was really draining myself really badly. So I had to figure out something to do, but Big Brother, no, thank you. I will do lives either here or with Charles. That was the funnest times I had about talking with Big Brother, but not doing my own videos and reviewing and recapping because that was not fun at all.
Big Brother is a lot. Me and Charles just did a live on Survivor where we talked about the finale. Do you want to quickly give your 2 cents about the winner of season 41?
Yeah, I'm very excited for Erica winning. I enjoyed her game. She wasn't the flashiest player. She didn't get a lot of screen time. But I think because the season was so quick and so expedited that they really honed in on the bigger, flashier players, even that some of them that burned out so quickly and didn't even make it to the jury and stuff. But I liked her gameplay, and I liked her the most coming down to the ending. And I'm glad that Xander didn't win.
A lot of people were happy for that. I thought Xander was a huge threat, but what we see at home is not necessarily what they're feeling out there on the island. But again, I liked Erica as well. So I'm very excited for next Thursday. Survivor is over. The challenge is just down to the reunion. This Sunday, we're going to be on Angel Cake Entertainment, having a good time with Drew for, I guess, a whole season recap. And then next Thursday, same time, I guess we usually go at 7. We can still do 7. We'll discuss. But next Thursday, game night, a challenge theme game night. So get ready, get your trivia together, study, get all your challenge facts so we could play and have a good time before the holidays. And that's it. I want to thank you all. Again, this is our second season of the Fantasy Challenge, and it was so much fun. So I hope we do it again for 38. I don't know when 38 will be. It'll be in a couple of months. But I'm sure everyone will want to do it again, because who won last year? Was it me or was it Charles?
No, y'all had winners. Y'all both had the male and female winner last season.
Okay, so you lost 2 times. Okay.
Well, if we're gonna go by points, this was our first season doing the points. Last season it was all or nothing. But yeah,
dang.
So we have to do it again so Charles could try to win one. I'm sorry. I'm really competitive with fantasy.
Season, but yeah.
I like trash talking when we do fantasy stuff. But again, I think we'll do it again for 38, but
yeah.
We have to take a rest. This was a fun time. So I know I was being shady, Michelle. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Michelle. If y'all go back to those reviews, you'll see that Angie don't win throughout the season. She just had CT on her team. That's why she won at the end. So
that is true. That is true. And you see how this year, Charles, who was lucky enough to get the first pick, stole CT this year, but which was a good move. You can't go wrong with CT on your team. But I'm trying to close it. Okay, I was shady. Last shout out. Sunday night we'll be on Angel Cake Entertainment with Drew. Next Thursday is game night. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. It was a great season of the challenge. Like this video, get in the comments if you're on the rewatch. We will see you for season 38. Thank you so much, Drew and Charles. Everyone have a good night. Bye.